Do you ever feel frustrated or get overwhelmed with all the content you need to create for your business in this digital age? Do you ever feel like you're too old, too young, or just not good at creating content? Well, today we're going to level the playing field when it comes to content creation. Towards the end of the episode, I'm going to share something super exciting and brand new with you that can help you simplify content creation and get results fast. Are you ready to dive in? Welcome to this live recording of episode number 224 of the In a Weekend podcast. I'm your host, Yong, and I'm so grateful you're taking the time to tune in today. Whether you're watching live, catching the replay, or listening to the audio over on the podcast. Here on the podcast and inside our In a Weekend series of classes, we help you to simplify content creation by leveraging automation and hidden assets inside your business, like your kiddos. When it comes to creating content, there is just so much to do and so little time. Or at least that's what many of my students and clients tell me. Between Facebook pages, Facebook groups, Facebook Lives, building a website, creating a blog, and connecting across all the different social media platforms, it can often feel like you are trapped in this hamster wheel of content creation, moving around and around and around again. When you're in that hamster wheel, you pick up some momentum and you start to move faster and faster and faster, only to realize that life is passing you by, so you decide to make a choice. You decide to hop off that hamster wheel, or you're going so fast that you're just flung off at a dizzying rate, only to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and hop right back on to repeat the process over and over and over again. Does that sound familiar to you? If so, you are not alone. I'd love to know if that scenario of the hamster wheel and content creation resonates with you. Tell me and let me know whether or not that's happened to you or you've ever felt that way. The good news is that you can make a conscious choice to get off the hamster wheel of content creation gracefully and still create the type of impact you're wanting with your content by creating less of it. That's right. You heard me. I said less content. And the even better news is that you can create content at any age. For lots of people, the idea of creating content is kind of like waiting in those long lines at any amusement park to hop on the roller coaster. As you make your way closer and closer to the front of the line, your heart rate starts to speed up, your palms get super sweaty, and it may feel like your mouth has been dried out with a piece of cotton, or it feels just cottony inside there, super dry, and that's all in anticipation of getting on this ride. And for lots of people, creating content can feel very similar to that as well. Once you hop on the ride and you're strapped in and someone checks to make sure that you're safe, it's usually not nearly as bad as you were thinking it was. Those thoughts of anticipation actually, in some cases, were worse than the actual ride. That's what I've experienced time and time again when I go on any of those amusement park rides. It feels super scary and it feels daunting and it feels like I want to run the other direction. But as soon as I hop on and experience the ride, at the end when I hop out, it doesn't feel nearly as scary as I thought it was going to. I had just built it up so much in my mind that it really felt like, wow, that was kind of easy. And that's what I want you to think about content creation as well. Whether you're just starting out as a content creator in your business, whether you want to help your kiddos really start to cultivate and create their own content, or whether you want to do something as a family, content creation should be, number one, joyful, and number two, it should be easy, despite what all the people out there tell you. It doesn't have to be a struggle, because when it comes down to it, if you can create one great piece of content every single week, whether that's a blog, whether that is a Facebook Live video, whether it's an audio podcast, whether it's a series of graphics that you create, you can start with one of those things and you can learn to leverage it by sharing it again and again and again, or as we like to call it here, multiplying your message. And really, at its most basic, begins with one thing. I want to share a little story with you about a student that went through our ebook in a weekend class. Now, this student happens to be my youngest daughter, who is 12. I had been talking with her about creating a book series that she was super excited to create. And she went through this class and she actually used a classroom assignment. She needed to create a story with some really robust characters. So she created this children's book. And she was able to take that single piece of content that was a classroom assignment and leverage it to put it in book format. So in a single weekend, she was able to lay out that content and what she wanted it to look like. Now we're still waiting to find that right illustrator for this book so it can become an illustrated children's book. But literally, it was something she had already created. And that's really something that I want to have you take away today. That content creation doesn't have to be hard and frustrating and overwhelming, creating piece after piece after piece after piece, with those pieces going to die a slow, painful death inside your archives somewhere. You can literally breathe some new life into those pieces of content and revive them and repurpose them or multiply them across many different platforms in many different ways so more people can get to know, like, and trust you. So whatever your age and whatever your level of content creation happens to be, you, my friends, can start today. Go back and look at your archives. Have you created blog posts that you were excited to put out into the world and you haven't looked at them for months or even years? Maybe you started a podcast way back when and you have that audio content stored somewhere. Is there a way that you can revive that? If you're a photographer or a graphic designer, maybe you created some beautiful pieces that you want to share in a new way. Maybe you shared it on your website before. And if you can take that and share it across social media or put it in an email sequence, that's another way for you to multiply that content to get the most bang for your buck. Because when it comes to being a content creator, less is more. The key takeaway today is go find that one piece of content, or maybe you have several pieces, and figure out a way that you can leverage that content and share it in a new way or with a new audience so you can really start to multiply your message at any age and at any stage as a content creator. Now, I promise to share something new and exciting that I have for you in regards to being a content creator. We've just opened up applications to our implementation accelerator called M3. It's called the Multiply My Message Implementation Accelerator. And just like its name implies, it's about accelerating the speed with which you implement your content. So if you start with one piece, how quickly can you add another format to the mix? So your content calendar is never empty. You're never struggling to come up with content because you can turn one piece into a dozen or even more. We typically take one piece of content like this video, which will become our podcast. It goes on our blog in several different formats. It gets shared across social media. We create some graphics from it. And it all begins with one piece of content. And I want that for you too, my friends, to become a content creator so that when people look at you and your business, they think that you're a superhero with these superhero-like abilities where your content is literally everywhere that they hang out. And with some cool key tools and automations and software that I use, and that I'll share in this implementation accelerator, we're going to really get tactical and dive into step-by-step implementation pieces with checklists so you can really become a multiplier in the fastest, most efficient, and easiest way. Want to know more? All you have to do is head over to yongpratt.com/224, and right there on the show notes of this page, you can get access to an application. Now, this application is not holding you liable in any way. It basically is an application to make sure that this is the right fit for you, because I want to cultivate a community of multipliers who are excited to be able to become the magicians and the superheroes of their businesses by multiplying their message in very fast and efficient ways. When you apply for the program, you're just going to answer a couple questions so I can gauge whether or not it's going to be a good fit and whether or not the implementation accelerator is right for you. And if you are accepted and I feel you're going to be a good fit, I will reach out to you personally at the email address that you're going to share in that application, because I want to have a conversation and really start to get to know you and your business and whether or not you want to bring your kiddos into this amazing world that is content creation. Again, head over to yongpratt.com/224. You'll find the audio of this podcast. You'll find the show notes as well as the application for our M3 Content Implementation Accelerator. Be excited, my friends. Very, very excited. We're going to kick off M3 in late August, beginning of September, when the kids go back to school and you have a little bit more time to really dive into content. We'll create strategies together and we'll get tactical to make sure that your content gets out to the most people possible with the least amount of effort, because we're going to set up some really smart automations inside your business to handle all the heavy lifting. I look forward to receiving your application. If you have more questions about content creation, let me know down below. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And my friends, if you are listening to this podcast and you have found value in it, let your friends know about it so that they can start to become content creators and multipliers right alongside you. Okay, my friends, I wish you an amazing week. I will catch you right back here next time. Cheers, my friends.